Hello and welcome to Sierra Make. This is part 3 of doing stuff with a giant stuffed bear. And if you haven't seen the first 2 videos yet, I recommend you go watch those. Click the card up in the corner there, and let's jump in. For today's creation, we are going to need 1 white zipper. I bought this pack off of Amazon. They're all 9 inches and they're just a basic zipper. Link is in the description. And you will also need some D-rings. These will be used on the corners of the purse so that you can hang any type of strap or chain from it. So after making the hat and the coat, these are the scraps that I have left. As you can see, there's these little curved ones with a square bottom, which I think was attached to the thighs somehow. And I really like the shape of these, so I'm going to use this shape to make the purse. That way I don't have to cut this fabric up a whole lot. So starting off, I'm going to cut this shape out of the white fabric that I've been using for the lining of the past 2 projects. So let's just pin that up and just cut the shape straight out of that. I have my white cotton doubled up so I get 2 pieces out of 1 cut. And I tried to cut as close as I could to the original fabric without cutting the fur that was kind of sticking out there. With the leftover lining fabric, I cut out a rectangle, which would be the base of the lining of the purse, and I also cut out 2 triangle-looking things to be the sides of the purse. Here are all of the pieces laid out, just so you can see before they're sewn together. And also, here are the dimensions of each piece. The rectangle bottom's about 11 inches wide and 4 inches tall. The triangle sides are about, 5 inches, but really they should be 4. And about 8 inches tall. And then for the base of the purse, I use that piece from the thigh, so it's a little uneven, but the bottom of it should be about 11 inches wide, and then the right and the left you can see are a little uneven. I'm going to go back and fix that on all of my pieces, but first I am going to cut out those triangle side pieces and the rectangle bottom piece out of the fur. It's pretty interesting how with a lot of my series or multiple part projects, I end up using someone else's pattern first, and then with the second part of whatever series it is, I end up making my own pattern, and then with the third, I end up just winging it or making a pattern based off of my brain and not actually drawing it out first. So that's what this purse pattern is. It's just me winging it. Alright, so now I'm going to go back to that main base purse pattern, and I'm just going to fold it over in half and cut out both of the sides and just try and make it even, basically. Or symmetrical. That's the word, symmetrical. And even. You know what? Yeah. So I'm going to do that from both pieces of the lining and both pieces of the fur, so that we get a nice clean looking purse instead of something lopsided. Alright, now that all of our pieces are cut, it's time to start sewing, and we are going to start with the zipper, which I would argue is the hardest part. This purse zipper is going to be along the downward curve of the purse, so I am going to place my fur fabric with the right side facing up, and I'm going to put the zipper with the head of it, or the outside of the zipper facing down towards that fur, and then I'm going to place the lining on top of that, kind of sandwiching the zipper in between the 2. Then I'm just going to pin these 3 pieces together, making sure that the zipper really follows along that curve, and we will sew that outer side of the zipper together, just like you see here. Now that that's sewn, I'm going to flip it so that all of the right sides are facing outward, and you should check at this point to make sure the zipper is facing the way you want it to. And now I'm going to lay the second piece of fur face up and lay the other piece of fur face down so that both of the right sides are facing each other, and that zipper should be facing down again. And then I'm going to lay the other piece of the white cotton lining on top of that, sandwiching the zipper again between the 2 pieces, and I'm going to pin that and sew the other side of the zipper. I hope that made sense. It's a little confusing, that's why I say zippers are a little difficult, but it's not really that hard. This is my second time sewing a zipper. The first time was when I sewed one on a backpack. If you haven't seen that video yet, go check it out because I made a backpack out of a chair, which I think was awesome. But anyways, here is my zipper sewn to my main fabric and my lining fabric. Now I'm going to take the ends of those zipper and sew it along the main fabric first. I'm going to sew all the way to the top of that corner point, and then I'm going to do the same on the lining side, kind of in a V shape, I guess, making sure not to actually sew the lining to my outer fabric. It's not a huge deal if you do, but I just wanted my lining to be super separate from my main fabric. And then, of course, I did that to the other side of the purse as well. Like I said, I'm winging this. There might be a better way to do this, but this is how I decided to do it. And here's how the zipper looks. Normally at this stage I would top stitch on the zipper, but I wasn't sure how that would work with the fur, so I kind of just moved on to the next part, which is doing the bottoms and sides of the purse. So let's just sew those triangles to the rectangle really fast. Alright, they're sewn together. Now to attach that to the base of the purse. Alright, so there's my bottom lining, and there is the base of one side of the lining of my purse. So I'm just going to pin those together and then sew it up. Alright, here is one side of the lining sewn together, and now it's time to sew the other side of the lining. So I don't have to do anything special here, like leave a gap to pull through, because it's the lining and, it's facing the way that it actually will be facing once the purse is all done. So I'm just going to pin along that side, along the bottom, and along the other side, and then sew that all up so that we get a nice closed lining piece. I'm going to sew all of this up off screen and move on to the outside fur part of the purse. Alright, so there is our bottom and sides fur piece, and I'm just going to place that on top of one side of the fur on the purse and pin the bottom and sides just like I did the lining. But I'm only doing this to one side of the purse because on the other side, we're going to do something a little bit different. Alright, so at this point, before I closed up the whole purse, I figured it would be a good idea to actually top stitch this zipper. Because as it is right now, the fur keeps getting caught in the zipper, because it's long fur. So I'm just going to very, very carefully top stitch the fur down away from the zipper. So I'm going to slowly brush the fur away from the zipper and sew over that. So that way the fur is stuck pointing out away from the zipper, and then it won't get stuck in the zipper anymore. And there is our zipper with its top stitched. As you can see, it zips so much easier than before, and now we can finally move on to closing up the whole purse. So similar to what I did on the other side, I'm going to pin the side of the purse to the bottom and corner pieces of the purse, but I'm going to leave one section open, and that section has to be wide enough so that I can pull the zipper and all of the insides of the purse through so that it can be inside out. So this is the gap that I left open right here, and I sewed everywhere else that I pinned. So now that the body of my purse is all sewn together, I'm going to cut out some little rectangles that will act as the holders for the D-rings in the corner of the purse. These rectangles are going to be turned into tubes that need to be about an inch wide so that they hold the full length of the D-rings. And if you want to add some extra strength there, you could also put a little piece of strap in the fur tube that you're sewing. So now I'm going to take each of those 1-inch wide tubes and snip the corners of the purse so that the tubes fit in there snugly. Then I'm going to weave the D-ring through these tubes and slide the tubes into the corners of the purse with the D-ring facing inward so that when it's flipped inside out, the D-rings will be facing outward, and yeah. I suppose I could have used a piece of strap for this part, but I felt like the fur would blend better with the purse. Let's sew these corners really securely, and I also tacked the liner to the top corner of the fur fabric. That way it would stay up with the rest of the purse and not like fall down or anything. Now we just flip it inside out. Make sure to pull those corners out. And there we go. The purse is practically done. I'm just going to hand stitch that opening on the side closed and hook a chain or strap to it. I decided to use this chain that I'm borrowing from my sister because it's super cute and I felt like it made the purse extra snazzy, but I could have used any strap that had little hooks on the edges to clip to this purse. Now that I'm done with this, let's see all the parts together. First, I made the hat out of the head of the bear. It's pretty dang cute. It has some ears. Then I made a jacket with the body of the bear. It's cropped, it's furry, and it fits perfectly. And finally, I've made a purse to complete the outfit. I know a lot of people were trying to guess what I was going to make for the third item. Some people said socks, some people said pants. But I went with a purse because I didn't have a whole lot of fabric, but I wanted something that could be held below the waist because the two other projects are above the waist, and I wanted it to balance out. And I thought a purse would do that. What do you think? Do you like this outfit together, or do you hate it? Is it really weird? My sister said that I looked weird because I was all covered in fur, but I think it's cute and I like how fluffy it is. One cool thing that I found out was that I could also unclip the strap and use it as some kind of fanny pack, just rest it on my hip like you see here, which I thought was hilarious and kind of cool. It was a pleasant surprise to find out it fits my hips. Here I am being a dork. Anyways, a few things to note is I probably should have used some stabilizer on the inside of the purse because it's so floppy that it really doesn't hold its structure a whole lot. You can't really see the design of it that well. But, you know, it's not a huge deal. If I actually had some things and put them in the purse, it would show off the design a bit better. But some stabilizer would help it hold its shape when there's not a whole lot of things in it. Anyways, that is the end of this video, so be sure to hit the like button if you like the video, comment down below if you like the full outfit together, share the video with your friends who also like DIY sewing projects or just fluffy things, and please subscribe because I post every Friday at 3. Thank you for watching!